see, illegal immigrants, you never had it so good. So while one of you is off over to being part of our military, and a very special mission at that, the rest of the family on a base that we've renovated for you and everything else, you got room and board, paid for those 8 years so long as you're in the program, if any of them die. And I'm concerned about this. If any of our new soldiers die, the whole family automatically becomes legal citizens of the United States. You don't have to live on the base no more. You get full military benefits. You get full military honors, and I want that soldier. I want him to know that his family or her family got what they set out to earn in the first place. And if they survive, far out. I'm really concerned about that. It's funny, I'm tearing up. When I wrote this originally inside TAP several years ago now, I teared up when I wrote it because I know that some of these folks are going to die. It's just by the very virtue of what they're doing. Surviving. Re-enlist. You know there's re-enlist bonuses. It'll be between the troop and the DOD. There's no reason I can see at this particular moment. So long as they have an honorable discharge, that's going to be the requirement. Honorable, not general. Honorable discharge. They can re-enlist. But we're up to something very special with these troops that we'll talk about in a bit. Limited spaces. There's limited money, limited spaces. So if you have not absconded, get your butts home. So we don't have to catch you and put you through the trial and charge you with absconsion and all that stuff. Get home and get on a waiting list as soon as possible. Oh yeah. Section 4 of the whole federal government package here. Section 4, tough on teenage screwballs. Dig it. The money, 20% of this budget. See, the illegal immigrants get more than the tough on teenage screwballs. Couple of billion more. And that's just for one aspect of the illegal immigrants. That's how bad they're sapping our system right now. This is supposed to go to kids and schools and everything else, but we got to deal with that. And we will deal with that. Once again, let's go back. TOTS is going to bring in $3,765,937,500, which is 20% of the federal government allocation from Pi 10 Lips. Program administration is 1%. This includes all transportation, feeding, housing, etc. the people we're about to go over. This means running a very tight budget. Basically putting people to work. We have 39% here just for this little spot, just for this one little spot of putting people to work of $1,468,715,625. We're going to start by putting our veterans to work. Absolutely. Dig this, vets. You already get your medical through the VA, so we're not covering you on VA on this one. You will have to pay taxes out of it and everything else. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to hire all you vets at a capped fixed rate of $20 an hour, every one of you that we can that came home, to do construction or whatever specialty you have to help rebuild disaster zones. That will bring in 14,122 full-time job careers. No kidding. Every year. And let's face it, we have natural disasters every year. The whole point of all this is to get the New Orleans cleaned up, get Texas cleaned up, get Atlanta cleaned up, or whatever other place. We got Georgia, we got Mississippi, we got Florida, Texas. All these people get slaughtered every year. And Mexico, just because we're sending you back illegal immigrants, we have a program for you and going global in our future world that we're going to get into. And the same goes for you. Get your people together and ready them for them tornadoes. Ready them for them storms, them hurricanes. And that goes with the rest of the nations. Each nation, you all suffer natural disasters. Create this allocation, put your veterans to work as best as possible. In this case, I put 14,122 to work. And it's not much, considering how many vets we have out there. Okay, HUD, PALS, entry-level position. What's going to happen is HUD's going to have a situation where they can pick up the phone. Say Assistant Secretary Ron Sims, who, hello Ron, I've talked bad about you, man. I live in King County, so anyway. But I've also followed your career, and I can dig what you're up to. We just agree to disagree. Anyway, Ron, all of a sudden we have a natural disaster. Ron picks up the phone. Hello, pals. We need these people in this area. As the money trickles up, each little area is going to have a certain amount of HUD money, FEMA money, or whatever going to it. Okay, and different ones are going to be for different programs. So he's going to be able to pick up the phone, make a phone call, and say, for example, in Washington State, since I know he knows it well, and we know the Green River Valley well, we would get all these people that live in the greater vicinity. Originally in TAP, I had paid for transportation, housing, etc. There is actually no allocation for housing, etc. These are for local people who live in the area, are coming to readiness for natural disasters. They've signed up to be ready. They're ready to be ready. And it's a program. Of this, the entry-level positions, these are people with high school diplomas, GEDs, but no college, or very little college, or less than a GED. They're ready, willing, and able. $239,743,125, which is 50% of that 40% allocation. And that comes to, if you dig it on a full-time basis, if you're at a crunch on a full-time basis, it's a fixed rate of $10 per hour, no bennies. It would come to 11,526 full-time jobs. But that's not how we're going to handle it. Let's go ahead and finish this real quick, and I'll show you how we're going to handle it. The apprentice, that's the old LPNs, the associates but no bachelors kind of thing, $176,245,875, which is 30% of that 40%. And that 40% is 40% of that 20%, and that 20% is 20% of that 15%, and so on. Well, that 15% of that right there. I used to crunch these numbers out like this all the time just to keep my numbers straight. So we got the apprentice. That creates 5,648 plus full-time jobs at $15 an hour, so you might want to call them careers. Then there's the journey level, $117,497,250. 20% creates another 2,824 plus jobs at $20 an hour. Originally in TAP, I recrunched this at $15 an hour originally. Now I recrunched it at $20. So the job numbers are a little different. These people do not see this money. All of this money goes to Fannie Mae. It goes to pay off their student loans with Fannie Mae specifically. Now it's interesting that I sent this to President George W. Bush in 2007. I quit being a homeowner because of corrupt courts and taxes and a bunch of other things. So, I wasn't aware that Fannie Mae was a lender of homes. I didn't care. I just knew that Fannie Mae was in trouble. Boy, was I right. By the way, in that same window that Fannie Mae got in trouble, I also predicted that Russia would have civil unrest. And you know what they did? They invaded Georgia. And you know what's even be more wild? I'm going to prove to you I made that prediction a year before it happened. You just wait. Yeah, you just wait. So anyway, what's going to happen is this money's going to go to pay off the student loans. We got to get those student numbers down, those loan numbers down, get these people paid off. And the way it's going to happen is they're not going to be full-time jobs. Once again, HUD's going to pick up the phone, call PALS, and say, hey, PALS, I need this labor in this designated area stat. I need it now. So these people are going to show up, and they're going to operate under the direction of HUD in this particular case to reclaim something that's being destroyed by natural disaster. And those people that show up, they might end up working for 200 hours for like a couple of weeks, and that's it. So if you were to put it in a full-time capacity, this is what you created. In the meantime, think of it as closer to 100,000, if not more, part-time jobs. The reason why they're getting their pay is based on their discipline. How educated are they? Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the intermediary? Who's going to be at the ground level handling them sandbags? Just the pecking order, dudes and dudettes.